Good morning, Venice, Northport, Englewood, and surrounding Sarasota, South County areas. This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Venice Scoop. Today is December 11th. It's Wednesday. It is hump day, as my daughter loves to say. And we are getting started on the news. Nothing really happening on the county front, so I thought, hey, let's get started with Venice. This is something Pam Johnson put out about the Venice Firefighters Benevolent Fund. They were able to go out last night and have a Christmas dinner with gifts at Grove Street. This was at 6 o'clock, and 50 people were expected to be there to receive gifts and dinner. So some good things happening out there with the Venice Fire Department. Another good thing is Rich Carroll with Challenger Baseball. He was nominated as a pillar of the community by the city council. He will be teaming up with VPD this Saturday for the 16th annual Christmas party, where they give out about, I think they said 105 bikes with helmets and some other gifts to some lucky kids. This is at Epiphany Hall, 350 Tampa Avenue. It's going to happen Saturday at noon, and that makes for a great Christmas story. That's basically it for those two events and what the communications Pam put out. Now let's hop over to some other news that's going on. Okay, we're going to hop over the web, and so I must tell you, I'm sorry if it's not focusing on the story. For some reason, when I do this recording on the camera, you can't see which picture it's taken, and you think it's taking the full screen. So sometimes I'll click over in these areas, and it will fill in that area of your screen. Let's start off first with something that I put out yesterday while I was listening online to the city council meeting, and that's basically that the auditorium that the Venice High School is being built at Venice High School, the city council approved the priority rankings, I guess, or the agreement for use with the superintendent and the county. Basically, if memory serves me right, Venice High School gets first dibs, and then 3 local groups that perform, then the city of Venice, and I can't remember the other 2. But that's going to be opening up, they said, early November next year. Some other actions that took place out there, and I'm not sure if you can see these, is the fireworks at Sharkey's. They approved fireworks to be a show to be at Sharkey's Pier on New Year's Eve. So that may be the hot spot for New Year's Eve. Tuscany Islands, they're putting in this a former stay and play RV park. They're building what I think what's happening is they have some kind of water issue, and it's pretty extensive, and somehow it ties into the city of Venice. And I can't remember from the meeting a few months ago, but they approved that. Refinancing a bond that they financed a $6.6 million bond back in 2004. They got a 2.66% rate, and that's due to our favorable bond rating that's out there for the city, saving us $1.2 million. So kudos to them on that one. They approved the next year's working on a master plan for the parks. That's good things. And then the volunteers thanked many volunteers for getting out there and helping with Red 3 and other events. Okay, this next story comes to us from Josh at WWSB, and it talks about the fact that the snowbirds are down here and plentiful now. They're all over the place, and they're coming earlier due to the cold weather. So let's go ahead and check out this video and see what he says about it.
Helping the season of visitors start early this year.
It's having an impact already on restaurants, roads, and wallets. 7 Talk Newsroom reporter Josh Taylor has more from Venice.
The birds are back. Snowbirds, that is, and who can blame them?
This is heaven. At home, it's not so nice right now.
Coming from Michigan, Peggy Ellenwood says it was well below freezing back home Tuesday morning. In fact, it's cold most places around the country other than the Sunshine State. You may have even seen this Hate Florida Day map going around online. See that orange down there? Peggy says she tries not to rub it in.
I have to be very careful about what I say to them, especially on Facebook, and showing them pictures, because then they get kind of angry.
Peggy isn't alone. Here at Sharkey's on the Pier in Venice, the restaurant is packed with those who've flown south a little sooner. No snow, but plenty of white sand and frozen daiquiris going around, says owner Justin Pachoka.
We've seen a nice increase in business. It's happened a little bit earlier this year than typical years, so it's been very nice.
Of course, for us locals, that means things take a little longer.
the weight does go up. You definitely see the congestion on the roads.
But it also means more money.
It's the economy around here.
Venice realtor Dan Heschmeyer says the market is more active this year than normal, perhaps the cold weather up north helping to heat it up.
The last 2 weeks it's been very, very strong. In fact, yesterday in our market, 20 houses went under contract, and for Venice that is really a hot market.
I think people will escape up north.
Maybe even that nudge for some to say they soon need to go thaw out. Good early signs now, but the real busy season, they believe, is still to come.
Right around Valentine's Day through Easter is when we're really at our busiest.
Very strong season. No question about that.
Some have already landed. And with days like these there and days like these here, more will soon take off. 'Tis the season.
Just look around. It's paradise. It's absolutely wonderful.
So enjoy it while you can, because it's only going to get busier. From what we've heard, the temperature here could soon drop all the way down into the 50s.
Okay, Josh Taylor out there with WWSB. I'm not sure about that ending there. It was pretty funny. So be careful out there. The roads should be more congested, and just drive safely. The next story came to us about this one. It's a 287-acre preserve was named after former county commissioner John Thaxton. He, if you recall, he served 2 terms, went up and faced a term limits thing, and had to say goodbye to his county commission seat, and now I think he's working with the Gulf Coast Foundation. This land will be off 681 in Nokomis and open in the spring of 2014. And they listed some other actions in this article that the county commission took. The next story, this character, Michael Frank Mullner, 20, he's a Venice resident, and basically he went out acting like a Sarasota police officer, and he was charged after a home invasion in April. Not sure who would think. I mean, he doesn't look like a police officer to me. Basically, he's behind bars after he tried to break into a home on 19th Street in Sarasota in late April, and told the victim he was with the Sarasota PD. He was charged with felony home invasion, attempted robbery, and falsely impersonating an officer. You do not want to do that. This is just a comical story. Now, you know, a lot of people are like, hey, why do you put these stories up if we don't have subscriptions to the Sarasota Herald or the Venice Gondolier? Well, basically, besides WWSB and an occasional WTSP story, they're the only news source in town. I don't subscribe to the Gondo. What I do is put stories up if you can get the gist of the article from the Gondo. I do subscribe to the Herald, and basically the stories give the gist of it that I put up there, and I go in more into detail during my newscast. This guy basically, the Nokomis man spent Thanksgiving in jail because he couldn't handle his fiance's criticism of his meal he brought to share in their hotel room for Thanksgiving. I know the feeling. My kids criticize my meal all the time if it's not cooked exactly to their liking. Gotta love the kids. That's basically it for Venice. Let's hop over here to Englewood. This is just a accident that happened. 2 FedEx trucks. Look at that. One was knocked on its side. Basically, they collided on Tuesdays, resulting in injuries to both drivers. The wreck occurred near the intersection of Anchor Row and Green Dolphin in Cape Hayes, down towards the Englewood Market. Next is Warm Mineral Springs. It looks like the county, from what it says, the county, and after months of chilly negotiations, the co-owners of Warm Mineral Springs, Northport, and the Sarasota County now say they have a roadmap to reopen the attraction. Nonetheless, even a best-case scenario would likely keep the popular spot closed for several more months. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this interview by SNN.
Well, Northport's Warm Mineral Springs will reopen sooner than later. The Sarasota County Commission votes to move forward, working with the city of Northport to reopen the venue. Push from the public is causing pressure among commissioners, and now Sarasota County agrees to expedite the reopening by finding a short-term management company to run the springs. They'll continue to look for a long-term manager. The vote to expedite the reopening came 4-1, with Commissioner Joe Barbetta opposing it. blaming the hurry on politics.
It's clear. The interpolitical agreement back in June said in 60 days you have this process completed, and in 30 days we'd vote on the process, and this place would be open by now. It would have been opened under this process. So for me to rely on this letter when this has been totally ignored, I can't do that. I'm telling you right now, nothing's going to happen down there until there's an election, and I still believe that. And the only reason why one commissioner's come around is because there's an election coming up.
The spring closed on June 30th when a concessionaire's contract expired. It's jointly owned by Sarasota County and the city of Northport.
Wow. Pretty harsh words from Barbado on Northport City Commission there. Seems like he has lost total faith in the city of Northport and their elected officials. Not good. The last one is here is lovely Sally Clark. She's updated her address. She's moving over to Flamlaw Avenue, Northport. This lovely new resident of Northport is convicted of sexual lewd and lascivious molestation of a victim under 12 and adjudicated on 11/27, that's just last month, and adjudicated guilty and convicted. So, lovely new neighbor Sally Clark. Okay, our last bit of news comes to us also from Northport, and that's the City Commission has approved a special events assistance program that allows for event organizers to apply for assistance to pay for city fees and resources that are tied to hosting special events. Not unsimilar to what they passed yesterday with the Venice one. They didn't really pass it. They gave the Rotary clubs a pass on some fees that were ignored in the past. I guess the fees went up hundreds of %. And that's because the new city manager came in and said, look, all these fees weren't being applied before. They were being ignored. So they took them all and said, these are your fees. Something like $1,000 to have a fire truck on standby. Basically, the council said, hey, look, the Rotary gives $40,000 of the $60,000 they bring in out to back into the community and scholarships and stuff. Let's just waive this fee, which makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, and that's it for the weather. So let's get over to the weather and see what's happening there. Okay, at this point, normally I would hop over to a weather map. For some reason, my voice is not coming up on the web. I'm having so many issues today, and my game's off, so let's do the weather just with you looking at me. It's supposed to be 80 today. A front came through, and another front's going to come through, and an even stronger front's going to come through on Sunday. We're in the 80s now. We're going to drop down to the mid-70s tomorrow, upper 70s the next day. By Saturday, we'll be back in the 80s. However, Sunday's calling for rain in a low 70s. So that is your forecast. Right now, seas, they say 5.6 swell out of the west. I was down at the beach. I don't think it's 5.6 swell out of the west, maybe way deep out there. The wind is hauling 10 to 15 out of the east, which is killing the swell somewhat. And that is it for your weather. Okay, in other news with sports, the soccer Venice 3, Brandon 1. John Goki led the offensive charge with a goal and assisted Venice as they defeated Brandon River in a district matchup. For the soccer, for Northport, they lost as Mark Sholmersky from Lead Out of Door Academy scored 2 goals with a win over Imagine of Northport. And then lastly, soccer Northport girls. Katie Lang scored 2 goals and had 4 assists to lead the Outdoor Academy in its 9-1 victory win over Imagine Northport girls soccer match. So not a good day out there for the girls soccer for sports for Northport Imagine. All right, next we have events, and there's a few events that I wanted to notice. I think I'm a little out of it today in my newscast for some reason. I think I'm too focused on if the waves are up yet. So let's go to events. And events, we have a couple of them going on that I posted, and one is the Taste of Progressive Dinner. This is an event that is going around to the different places. You'll have to call the 941-45-7136 number to get information, but they're going to the museum, archives, library, community center, arts center, and it's going to cost basically $40, and you go around to these different places and just check out the different foods of different cultures. It sounds like a fun-filled event to me. That's basically it for the new events that I've added. I know I have some things coming up tomorrow. That's basically it for the weathercast or newscast, which did not seem to be at my top level today, so I'm sorry for that, folks. And for Francesco Abbruzzino and the Venice Scoop, that is it. Ciao tutti.